Thank you, Rob. This is going to be a fun one tonight. We've been looking forward to the Ducks and the Utes for some time. 15,000 strong, a sold-out Huntsman Center here in Salt Lake City. The Oregon Ducks, the number 10 team in the country, one of the unbeatens at the top in Utah right now. On the outside, looking into Arizona and Oregon. Welcome courtside, Aaron Goldsmith alongside Coach Steve Lavin. And Lav, as we begin to flip the calendar over to February, a lot on the line for both teams.
Well, if you're Oregon, Dana Altman has the Ducks once again in the midst of a record-breaking season. They're fighting for a championship in the Pac-12 and also looking at a 1 seed if they can finish strong. The Utes, they're on the flip side. They need to build their resume. This is an opportunity for a key signature win on their home court against the Ducks.
Ducks have won a program record 16 straight. Jordan Bell leading the conference in field goal percentage for the running Utes. Lorenzo Bonham leading Utah in points, assists, and steals. And of course, the big storylines today, that man right there, David Collette, out the last 2 games as he has had the resurgence of symptoms from a concussion suffered in practice. On the other side, Dylan Brooks, offseason foot surgery, missed the last game, was in a walking boot, has been cleared to play. So the big difference makers on both sides in the starting lineups for the Ducks and the Utes as Oregon controls.
Dana Altman and Coach Krystkowiak, 2 of the best at peaking their teams this time of the year. The early turnover. Here comes Daniels.
That was a problem against Stanford. Collette in the paint. He has been such a force, a midseason transfer out of Utah State, double figures in all 9 games since gaining eligibility.
And the Utes in the zone defense here are going to try and level off the ability of the Ducks to penetrate the ball.
Good pass. Dylan Brooks, easy in the paint.
Well, and that's textbook execution. The ability to get the ball to the short corner and then pocket pass on the interior of that Ute zone defense.
So the 2 guys that were questionable game time decisions, both with early buckets on both sides. Bonham has been even better than usual against 4 ranked opponents this year, averaging 17 a game for Utah against the toughest competition this season. 4 to shoot. Bonham having a step through. Right to Ennis. Began his career at Rice, transferred to Villanova, missed almost all of last season with a foot injury. Back healthy now, taking it to the rim. And it's Collette who pulls it down.
The Utes will run off their defense and turnovers, but they prefer to play through the paint. They've dominated opponents in terms of points in the paint as a result. That's using your personnel. The size, the strength, and the length. Also the skill and intelligence that the Utes bigs play with.
Tough shot there. Off the mark by Zuma. Bell with Collette on him. Bell using the feet.
Yeah, didn't rush that shot, Aaron. Was able to get his balance and finish. Little 3/4 court pressure by the Ducks. They'll give different looks just to keep you off balance. Nice pass on the inside. That's that tandem. Collette to Kuzma. And Larry Krystkowiak was a great post player at Montana in the NBA as well. And he schools the big men here at Utah as well as any coach in the country.
Kuzma, 6 straight double-doubles. Pritchard wants a 3 from straight away. True freshman out of Lynn, Oregon. And this goes to Utah. We go back to the Jordan Bell bucket.
Well, isolation and single coverage, so he uses the bounce and able to back down, get a high percentage look, and then here again, interior passing, playing in pairs, almost like dancers. The 4s and the 5s, the frontline players here at Utah really have a good sense for one another on the floor.
There's JoJo Zamora, JUCO transfer from Oakland. Daniels coming off a career night against the Huskies of Washington. 24 points, under 10 to shoot now. He takes it off the glass.
He took a page out of Dylan Brooks' book. Even has the same hairdo. Those are both tremendous heads of lettuce. All Pac-12 lettuce head.
Dorsey too strong on the 3. Bonham pushing the tempo for the Utes. Taking it in the paint with the left hand off the glass.
see the size of Daniels and Bonham, their ability, the length and strength. A steal by Bonham, again, using that wingspan to get out in transition.
Finishes! Suddenly a 6-point lead for Utah early. And this place is alive. Brooks over Collette.
Brooks giving the crowd the Utes fans not happy.
Brooks has been a major nemesis to Utah, averaging over 20 a game in his career versus the running Utes. Bonham backs it out with 7 to shoot. Bonham pulls up for the 3, short. Dorsey had 23 points and 9 rebounds in the Pac-12 title game against Utah last year, as Brooks is too strong and Daniels with the rebound. Knocked away. Here comes Dorsey. Ducks have numbers, 3 on 2. Dorsey can't finish. Zamora with Collette. Collette off the glass.
Been the running Utes here early.
What a pass! Bell gets it, swatted, foul. They call a foul on Collette. He can't believe it.
Well,
Utah
Utes,
behind this crowd, Steve.
track meet style. Bonham, little change of pace, good gather, the left hand off the window, the strength, the length to finish. Utah looking strong early. Big fella gets involved. Collette with the bucket. Timeout.
We say hello to Dana Altman, the pride of Wilmer, Nebraska. His 7th season in Eugene with the Ducks has secured his 20th consecutive winning season and has had awfully good success against the running Utes. Won 10 of 11. On the other side, Larry Kraskowiak from Shelby, Montana. His 6th season in Salt Lake City. Just 1-10 all-time versus Oregon. However, he has risen this program from the dead, and they've been awfully good here inside the Huntsman Center.
They've been able to have success at multiple stops, which speaks volumes.
Look at Dana Altman, what a career he had in Omaha, 16 seasons with Creighton. Brooks after the foul from Collette, the first foul of the game. This is the second.
Yeah, I think my microphone is missing in action there, Aaron, but picking up from where I left off, I know the sign language helped me pick right up. But for the viewers, these two coaches have had success at multiple stops, so it shows a flexibility to be able to take their blueprint, different leagues, different levels of basketball, different regions of the country, and have success.
7 to shoot as Bonham tries to direct some traffic with the clock ticking. In the paint, swatted away. All 12 points for Utah so far coming in the paint. Dorsey with the chin fake. Gives it up. And Bell draws contact. They waved the basket off and called it on the floor.
Now, Utah's been attacking, make that Oregon attacking this Utah zone with purpose. They've distorted that zone in different ways with the high post touch, the short corner touch, and there we saw Dorsey put the ball into the seams or the teeth of the defense, draw help, and then make that pocket pass to Bell.
Fouls on Kuzma. Boucher is on the floor for the first time for the Ducks. Vincent as well. Good skip pass. Dylan Brooks.
Again, that's the sweet spot, the high post. Great place to operate, get the ball there. You're well deployed in terms of being able to look to both sides of the floor. Got the nice jump shot there, can drive it as well.
Brooks with 6 of the first 9 for the Ducks. Dorsey on Daniels. Daniels crosses over. Scoots high, no good. Rebound pulled down, put back by Kuzma. Benson penetrates, kicks. Boucher, big man can hit from deep, and he does.
Boucher loves those corners. For a player his size, unusual shooting ability, a marksman.
He went 6 for 9 from downtown versus Washington State not long ago. Trying to travel.
Well, Boucher, not only a protector of the rim on defense in terms of blocking shots, but how about the luxury Dana Altman has to step him out to the deep corner for bombs away, bottoms of the net.
He attempted 7 threes in their last game, which came at home against Stanford.
And Boucher rarely forces. I'm impressed with his intelligence. Lets the game come to him.
This is Jojo Zamora. Averages 9 a game. Although those numbers have decreased the last couple of games, has 2 points his last 2 games.
Multiple looks here early by Utah. Seeing man-to-man, seeing a conventional 2-3 zone, a 1-3-1 zone. Now they're tinkering.
Brooks, a hard take high, and he's able to put it through. How about that scoop?
Wow. How about cupping the ball and then finishing? Looked like Iceman, George Gervin. You weren't even born.
How do you know?
Iceman used to take it to the hole for the finger roll.
8 points for Brooks. As Dana Altman said, Dillon Brooks is our personality, especially on the defensive end. 8 to shoot. Fairfield gives it up. Johnson, no good. Kuzma fighting. Boucher with a block. Dorsey lowers his shoulder, and a foul is called on Utah and Cedric Fairfield. Dorsey took on the blocker right there.
Well, that's getting physical there at the rim. Dillon Brooks feeling it. Coach Altman giving him the green light. Emerald City, go to work, fella. Off the window one more time. Splitting defenders, high off the glass. Timeout.
Always a colorful crowd here inside the Huntsman Center. Good start to this one. All tied up, just under 12 minutes to go here in the first half. We take you back to last March in Las Vegas. Pac-12 Tournament Championship game. Utah number 12, Oregon number 8. And this lab was a total beatdown. Tyler Dorsey led the way, 23 points. Dillon Brooks dropped 18 as well for Oregon, who forced 20 Utah turnovers, which led to 28 points.
You know, the Ducks caught fire late. Made that dramatic run to the Elite 8. Cut down the nets in conference and conference tournament play as well. So a banner season for Dana Altman and the Ducks, and they've got their sights on a Final Four this year.
You can see Oregon has had its way versus Utah. They've won 7 in a row versus the Utes. Boucher launches another 3, this time off the mark.
And keep in mind, Oregon's had their way in recent years with most all Pac-12 teams. That's why Dana Altman's had such tremendous success and honors coming his way year after year, and well-deserved.
Rawson on the floor for the first time. And it stays with Utah. Collette missing the last 2 games. Practicing today in shoot-around, truly for the first time in about a week and a half or 2 weeks.
As a veteran player, he can make the adjustments. It's one of the advantages. The transfer from Utah State brings a maturity, a perspective that's unique.
Once again, milking the shot clock, 5 to shoot. Daniels fades on the baseline.
It's amazing how similar Brooks and Daniels' games are.
Dorsey on the other end, short. Possession stays alive as Benson is able to get it up top. Benson ends up having a wide open finger roll. Tie things back up.
Good maneuvering by Benson there. Alert, and then slammed on the brakes, gathered the feet, saw that he had an opening, why not?
Cedric Fairfield, the SMU transfer, just a handful of games for the Mustangs. Trying to find his fellow midseason transfer Collette. Last touch by the Ducks.
An active defense there by Brooks, coming in, extending his arm there to knock that ball away and prevent a catch by Collette.
Dorsey and Brooks to the bench for Dana Altman. Jordan Bell back on the floor. And Pritchard as well. In the corner, Bearfield launches.
Well executed out of bounds play by the Utes. Bearfield showing his ability from distance.
Benson keeps the dribble alive and now calls for a timeout. We'll take the timeout with Dana Altman. A quick break. We're back in half a minute here from Salt Lake City. What a start to this one. Just under 10 minutes to go here in the first half. Utah leading by 3 against number 10 Oregon. The Ducks bring with them the third longest active winning streak of the nation. Gonzaga at 20 in a row. Kansas with 18. And the Ducks with now a school record 16 consecutive wins. Of course, flawless in conference play.
And that record was set 104 years ago. 1911-12 and 12-13. Over those 2 seasons combined, they had 15 consecutive wins.
And it's with 2 to shoot. And it's Parker Van Dyke on the floor who controls the loose ball.
Both these teams will play switching man-to-man. They'll play various zone defenses and, of course, trying to level off dribble penetration, protect the rim, and also get different looks, keep a team out of rhythm offensively.
Collette with Bell on him. He's able to draw the foul. First foul against Oregon.
We have a little Bronx cheer here in Salt Lake City. Bell picks up the foul. These fans have been in it from start and throughout. Out of their seats, engaged. Love to see that. Must be rounding towards February.
Van Dyke, a contested 3, and he knocks it down. Largest lead of the day for Utah. Ennis with the right hand, fouled and through.
And again, different ways to attack zone defenses here. Ennis able to maneuver off the bounce. The transfer from Villanova, former Big East athlete, now out west with the Ducks in Eugene. Good lift on that shot. Able to find the airspace. And again, in attacking the zone, you could attack through the pass to the high post, the short corner. You could distort the zone through screening, both on ball and the backside for skip passes, but also attacking off the bounce, purposeful bounce, Aaron. A very effective weapon against the zone.
Can't convert the three-point play. And he's averaged 10 points a game his final season with Villanova. Kuzma's had a quiet start to this game.
He's another player that doesn't force, lets the game come to him. He'll pick his spots.
Benson in front of Bearfield, front iron this time. And it's leading the charge for the Ducks. Taking on the whole Utes team, and Bonham swats it away.
No easy ones tonight at the rim. Good help. Again, the length, the trees. Fully extended. Just not many easy buckets. You have an opportunity to better convert because daylight closes so quickly against these teams, and for different reasons. With Oregon, it's the length, but also the speed. And with the Utes, there's a ruggedness. They're stout in terms of their size down low.
Bell, pretty backdoor pass. Benson, a 3, and he hits.
Well, good alert offense by the Ducks there to find the open man. A little hot potato.
Benson 2 games ago, 5 for 5 from behind the arc versus Cal. 8 minutes to go in the first half. No Collette on the floor for the Utes. Bottom taking Keith Smith baseline. He's on the floor for the first time for Oregon. Now 6 to shoot. Van Dyke, chin fake, deep 2.
Good shot fake to lift the defender, put the Ducks in the popcorn popper, and then able to get to the sweet spot.
A rare miss for Bell. The conference's best shooter in terms of pure field goal percentage.
That's a good sign. 2 Utes going after the ball aggressively. Another Ute going to the floor. It means your team is ready to go. Alert, aggressive. Had this Utes team earlier this year a few times, and they are much improved. And not just because of the newcomers, but across the board. This unit playing well together.
With 1 to shoot, it's knocked free and a shot clock violation. Larry Kraskowiak not too pleased.
Turn up the heat, Aaron. Pac-12 conference play. It's edgy. Gotta love it. Timeout.
Or as close as this first half has been, Utah has led for all but 19 seconds as we take you back to the huddle just a moment ago with Coach Kraskowiak.
Care if they're man or zone, you guys can run a man play. I'd be happy if you run hordes. I don't want to be down here having to call things, but we need players to make plays. Okay? You know what I'm talking about down there? You guys are like in a 30-second delay what you do at the end of a clock. And you don't need to, hey, Coos, you don't need to just make something up all of a sudden and attack. Okay, more points.
Aaron, I like the fact his bearing or temperament is such, as we take a look at the resume, that the players understand. He's making a point. He's emphatic, in particular against Oregon's changing defenses. He wants them to play concept basketball, to read and react. At this stage of the season, your team has the right basketball habits. So instead of trying to back it out with the clock running down and try and run something different versus zone or man, just keep the ball moving. Look for high post touches and look to set screens, find the opening.
Kuzma pivots his way to the rim but can't finish.
I think it's great that the play has been physical in the lane, in the paint, and the officials, for the most part, are letting them play.
First 12 points for Utah coming in the paint. 10 of the next 12 outside. Pritchard puts on the brakes, a 360 and kisses it in.
We've seen that on multiple possessions by the Ducks. Get in tight, jump stop, get your feet, get organized, and as you said, he pivoted to find daylight for the easy bucket. That's back to habits. You get into traffic, you want to be on balance, be quick, but don't hurry.
Makes it now 1-point game with under 8 to shoot for the Utes. 5 to shoot. Bottom, a Curry 3, too strong. Gets it right back, extends the possession.
Kuzma may need to step up in terms of asserting himself, aggressiveness, not forcing. But he's an effective playmaker in terms of putting the ball on the deck and creating matchup problems against opponents' frontline players.
Foul is on Tyler Dorsey, only the second team foul for Oregon. Devin Ennis comes back on the floor for Oregon. Kuzma takes a 3. And it's able to touch every inch of the rim.
That's important. Not to force, but on catches, Kuzma, a gifted player. Don't want to guard yourself. You have to make the defense play you honest. If they're going to back off you, knock it down.
Bell going up against Collette off the window.
Both these teams have found a nice offensive rhythm. Sharing the ball, not forcing.
Van Dyke almost out of bounds. Desperation to Kuzma. Now Daniels. And a foul on Pritchard.
Well, Kuzma has improved from year to year. with the Utes. Good lift. I like the pronation of the wrist. The ball rolls off those middle three fingers. A very soft touch here. Bell with the back down into the lane. And then puts one down off the window after squaring up.
Bell had made 24 of his last 29 shots entering this one tonight.
Well-coached teams are on balance more frequently than not. And these teams, when they take the majority of their shots, they are on balance. Got their feet under them, squared to the basket.
Collette short corner. Higby Williams on the floor trying to contest, but Collette goes right over the top. Collette with 6 now.
Christmas came early for the Utes when they picked up David Collette and Cedric Bearfield, 2 transfers.
Some handles from Pritchard. Bell baseline and a foul on Kuzma. That's his second. The big storyline of this one, however, David Collette, would he be available out the last 2 games? Symptoms of a concussion suffered in practice, and here's what we've seen.
I like the old-fashioned post play. Why not? George Mikan, Dave Cowens, old school.
To know what happened in Tucson, that one was close at the half with the Cougs. Well, we talked about David Collette at the Open, questionable to play today out the last 2 games. He's been in double figures, however, in all 9 games that he's played this year.
Well, he's given the Utes a real lift. The size, the strength, the maturity. We're seeing the playmaking as he plays in pairs there with Kuzma for the easy finish. Here, able to run the floor and finish at the rim. The bounce and the old school or old-fashioned kind of a lunch pail approach there in the basket area.
2 shots coming for Jordan Bell.
Jordan Bell shooting 2. Bell, the junior out of Long Beach. 2 games ago, a career best 26 points on 11 for 12 shooting versus Cal.
And Bell also played for the Compton Magic. He's really stepped up his aggressiveness in this game in particular on his catches, looking to be a threat, but still making good reads in terms of judgments.
A foul sends this to the other direction. That's on Collette, his second.
Collette looking to set a down screen here for Van Dyke, and may have leaned somewhat with that shoulder, and that's what the officials picked up. Collette goes to the bench.
So Krzyzkowiak is playing without Collette and without Kuzma right now, both with multiple fouls. Brooks got up to a hot start, 8 points, takes a deep 2 and he buries. He's in double figures.
So comfortable at the top of the floor on his catches. Again, a 3/4 court press by the Ducks.
And a foul going against Brooks, his first. That 3/4 court press, something Coach Krzyzkowiak told us a shoot-around has been a major problem for Utah.
Oh, the confidence, the nice step back, which creates some separation or distance between himself and Daniels. And that's all Brooks needs, is just a slight opening or window, any daylight. And that quick trigger allows him to get the shot off. He had a game winner, as we know, against UCLA and a dramatic victory up in Eugene on Matthew Knight Court.
That's the last close game the Ducks have played. Everything else blowout wins by at least 20 points.
When you look at their numbers in Pac-12 conference play, and they're just solid across the board. Every statistical category, and that's why they've dominated.
Bell strips it to Brooks, or should I say by an average of 20 points, those blowout wins. Scraping past Stanford by 17 the last time out. Brooks up top, going nowhere, as Bell throws a bullet and saves it.
Wow.
How did he get to that? 8 to shoot. Brooks tucks to Boucher, hunting his second 3. And Dylan Brooks whistled for the foul as he went over the top of Jace Johnson for Brooks' his second.
Utah, the best defensive rebounding team in the Pac-12. during conference games. And again, it goes back to Coach Krzysztofiak. An excellent big man himself, understands post-play, teaches it. We saw in that timeout his ability to give instruction.
Now, Lav, what do you make of this? Dana Altman staying with Dylan Brooks with 2 fouls. We've seen, of course, Krzysztofiak going to the bench with Kuzma and Klett when they've gotten 2 fouls.
Yeah, it's a feel. You see Johnson down low, able to draw the foul. Utah continues to make a concerted effort to play through the paint. Like blocking and tackling, they're going to continue to attack Oregon in the basket area. But it's a feel as a coach. And also it depends on who has the 2 fouls. Now, keep in mind, there may be a postseason game or a game down the stretch that's critical in conference play. And at some point, your players have to learn to play with fouls in the first half if you have 2, or in the second half when you have 4. Now, with that said, a coach is also evaluating the time and the score. Can he buy some time if he has a lead by going to the bench? But if you're in a tight one and you're fighting for a conference title, as Oregon is, and you have your sights set on a Final Four and a #1 seed, it's what they want to position themselves for, you might roll with your better players on the road in an environment like this.
First free throw attempts this half by the Utes, and Johnson misses both. Bell, by the way, to the bench. You saw Dorsey come on. Bell with 2 fouls. Brooks, a game-high 10 points. Puts it on the deck and kicks. Boucher keeps going after that 3. Made the first, has missed since. Utah ball.
Well, and to a fan that doesn't follow the Ducks, they may think it's unusual that a 7-footer is taking 3-point shots, but that's Dana Altman looking at his personnel and putting players in position where they can be successful. Boucher is actually more comfortable facing the basket than he is with his back to the basket. So invert your offense, allow your guards to get catches in the post, and step your bigs away, European style.
Under 90 seconds. Utah by 1 here in the first half. Bottom throws it right to Ennis.
Boy, Ennis again.
Upstairs, Boucher.
That's pretty basketball. Dylan Brooks with that spin move, but stays on balance. And Boucher, a nice cut from the corner there to catch it and jam it home.
An emphatic way for the Ducks to take the lead. Their first since the 17:53 mark here in the first half. As Coach Krzysztofiak calls for a timeout with under a minute to play the first half. Utah came out with tons of momentum earlier, and all of a sudden, it's the Ducks on top.
Yeah, dribble weave into the little spin move and the dish for the dunk. Timeout.
Boucher has now given the Ducks a 1-point lead. Utah has gone dry. No points, 3 turnovers. Their last roughly 3.5 minutes.
You know, the NCAA Select Committee talks about the optics, the eye test. Just sitting courtside with you here, watching these 2 teams play, they're both clearly NCAA tournament caliber. We know with Oregon, a possible 1 seed, but Utah as well, a team that could win games in the tournament. Now they have to build their resume. But Dan Gavitt's in the house tonight, Aaron. And that means that he's evaluating these 2 teams. He travels throughout the country. He's the senior vice president of NCAA basketball championships.
Well, he's been treated to a heck of a first half, as has everybody else, as Johnson ties it up. He missed both free throws his last time to the stripe.
And there's Dan Gavitt, worked for years in the Big East, was actually a basketball coach at one point at Providence. Of course, the son of Dave Gavitt, one of the great visionaries in the history of basketball. And was a heck of a coach and a broadcaster. Dave Gavitt had the triple crown going there, the triple threat, a little like you. I think at some point you could still end up coaching.
Well, only with your assistance, Lav.
You're coming with me if I go back.
Under 30 seconds, Utah by 1. Under 10 to shoot. Brooks with Johnson in front of him, and Brooks is having himself a half. A game best 13.
At peace with his game. Let's see if Utah goes with a high pick and roll or just flattens the defense.
5 seconds. Bonham able to stay with it, trying to find Johnson. Boucher comes up, and he'll just tuck it.
And a good swarm there, Aaron, by the Ducks as they smelled the blood, went after the ball. Brooks at peace with his game, why he's a first-team All-American candidate, a Player of the Year candidate, just sizes up, a little jab step, and lifts the ball to the clouds. Nice rainbow bottoms.
Ducks trying to extend their program best 16-game winning streak, the third longest active winning streak of the nation right now. They lead it by 2 at the break. Stay tuned now for the Fox Color Shoots halftime show with Rob Stone and Jim Jackson coming up right after these messages. It was loud inside the Huntsman Center. What a first half we were treated to here. Number 10 Oregon versus Utah. Both teams shooting over 50%. Dillon Brooks, a sensational first half. Kyle Kuzma trying to get things going, looking for his 7th straight double-double. Aaron Goldsmith alongside Coach Steve Lavin. And Lavin, the big question for the Ducks, would Dillon Brooks be ready to go today? A sprained foot. Missed the last game versus Stanford. He's 6 for 7 shooting.
Yeah, he's completely at peace, playing with confidence, and give Dana Altman credit for deploying a player with the versatility Brooks has in a proper manner. We've seen him with the mid-range jumper, good flexion in the wrist on that shot. Here, playmaking over the top to his partner Boucher for the dunk. And here, a tough shot high off the box. And again, just sizing up a jab step in rhythm, torching or tickling the twine from all angles, Aaron. And again, he has that Swiss Army knife versatility. And as a result, Dana Altman uses him accordingly.
He made his way to the second half for tickling the twine, Lav. That's good restraint on your part. Very impressive.
I did adjust pronation to flexion because pronation is associated more with the foot, where I think flexion in the wrist may be more apropos.
The Ducks start the second half with the lead. They led for all of a minute in the first half. Bonham launching right away. Short. And it stays with the Utes.
Both these teams would be wise to attack the paint through the bounce, but also through post feeds. Look to get touches in the interior, play inside out. Doesn't mean, again, you have to force it inside, but
Daniels left his feet really without a good option. And it goes to Oregon. Lav, what do you make of the fact that at halftime this is a 33-31 game, so low-scoring affair, and yet both these teams shooting over 50%?
Well, they're well coached and they're well prepared. And it's a significant game in terms of how meaningful at this stage of conference play and even looking ahead to the NCAA tournament. And these teams run good offense in terms of shot selection, good take from the elbow, an isolation move there, and Brooks able to finish. He is a difficult matchup. And again, the Ducks move him around the floor so he gets catches in different areas where he can attack.
Brooks, for his career, 5-0 against Utah, shooting about 60% as Collette answers on the other end.
Aaron, speaking of good offense, the last 2 possessions, both Ducks and Utes rewarded by attacking the rim. Brooks off the bounce, and there a post feed to Kuzma, which draws the double and the easy dish for the 0-footer.
Pritchard crossing over, stepping through. Dorsey, who was held scoreless in the first half, gets swatted by Collette, who's fired up. And a foul on Pritchard, trying to reach from behind. That's his 3rd. Collette getting it done on both ends, Lav.
Well, Collette, again, experienced a good dish by Kuzma, alertly finds Collette under the hoop, and then now here, the length, verticality goes straight up to send it back out. Mr. Dorsey's going to have to attack the rim, play over the top if you expect to get fouled against this U team.
Pritchard, the first player on either side with 3 fouls. Collette, an offensive foul. Praskovia can't believe it, and for him, it is now his 3rd.
And a very difficult call. Officials got to make it bang, bang. There may have been a flop, some acting, And yet you have to give credit because he sold it well. Crowd not happy, Krystkowiak not happy. Also Collette because the forearm was in play. Now, I'd love to see that as a coach. I'm biased, be a no call. But again, I come from it a little differently. I'm not an official, and the officials are told how to call the games.
A rare miss for Dillon Brooks. So Collette on the bench now. Jace Johnson back on the floor as Collette has 3 fouls. Zamora puts on the brakes. Kuzma, a little bit of a quiet first half, 7 points.
Yeah, Kuzma has a propensity to pick his spots, in particular late game.
Daniel hits. Foul on the floor. Daniels picks up his first foul.
Daniels again, reminiscent of Brooks. They really mirror one another, not only in hairstyle, but in their offensive game, their arsenal. Now Daniels gives a couple inches to Brooks, who has greater size, but their style of play very similar. How about after the made basket, how quickly Oregon gets the ball down the floor, sideline break, and Ennis able to attack the rim. Missed his first chance to make the back end here.
Nearly an 80% free throw shooter on the season.
And going back to your point earlier, as we see a three-quarter court pressure employed here by the Ducks, just a different look, not allowing Utah to walk into their offense and establish rhythm. But both these teams run good offense, take care of the ball. Utah in conference play under 10 now in terms of turnovers.
Johnson controls it. Dillon Brooks with the rejection. Now a jump ball call. Possession arrow going to Oregon.
It's been fierce, the play in the paint. And Oregon may have dodged a bullet on that possession. And we're hearing it from the Ute fans.
No, there's no doubt. Dorsey to Bell. Taken on Johnson. Fouled. It counts.
Excellent two-man game. Dorsey, tremendous poise, plays at the pace, has the vision and the skill to find Bell on the move. Bell able to catch. Wisely doesn't bring it down, keeps the ball high. This is a weight room basket where he puts the shoulder into the sternum of the defender, extends to finish, steps to the line for the old-fashioned three-point play conversion. Well devised, well executed by the Ducks here in a hostile environment.
Bell now with 9 points. Boucher checking back in for Bell.
Chris Boucher back in for him.
Oregon by 2.
See, good offense. Set your defense. When you shoot a free throw.
Daniels able to save him, the right to Benson. Ennis, transition. Bad angle right underneath the rim. Daniels at 3 from the wing off the mark. Kuzma will be whistled for the foul. Or they give this to Dorsey. It is on Dorsey.
Number 31,
Check that, Ennis. We'll figure it out. First on Ennis.
Second lead.
Far side, 65% of shots taken from one side of the floor. When they miss, go to the far side. That's why it's so important you box out on that weak side, so to speak, or be ready to track down rebounds that come that way.
Roman Sorkin checks in for the first time, taking the spot of Ennis. He's on Kuzma, right out of the gates. Kuzma controls, goes up, forces the foul, and he'll shoot.
Well, again, that's what we mentioned early. I'm sure Coach Krystkowiak wants Kuzma to be more aggressive in his catches. And what we mean by that is put your eyes on the rim, square up, look for opportunities when you're open. Don't pass them up because they may not be there late in the clock. In other words, don't guard yourself. Or another way of saying is don't take a good shot, turn it down, and it ends up being a bad play. So Kuzma, by squaring up creates problems for opponents, and there he was rewarded with the free throws.
Gibson both has 9. We saw Collette, he's on the bench. An early foul to start the second half. He has 3. And worth going back for a minute, Lav. Brooks, we thought, had 2 fouls near the end of the first half. It turns out he had only 1. They gave one of those fouls to Peyton Pritchard as Brooks loses the ball. Only 2 turnovers for the Ducks in the first half. They had 17 in their last game against Stanford.
And this is one of the best games I've seen this year. Covered a number, coast to coast. And it's because well-coached teams at this stage of the season play a cleaner game. Everything is contested. And, of course, what's at stake, the significance for both teams. Such an important game.
And with that in mind, Collette on the bench, as we just covered. Brooks on the bench now for Oregon. Brooks with a game-high 15 points. Chase Johnson fighting for the loose ball and a foul. Well, in terms of the leading scorers for Oregon behind Brooks, it has been Jordan Bell. Bell getting things going. Good pass by Dorsey.
That's the weight room shot. Summertime paying off. Got to be able to finish in the lane. Give a little flex. Why not? Biceps. Timeout.
Hey, on Fox, as we take a look at some top 10 losses in the week. Marquette fined for their students rushing the floor after taking down the defending champs, #1 Villanova. Of course, West Virginia, Bob Huggins, that program has had its way, taking down some top seeds. Just one of a handful of top-ranked schools getting drowned. Van Dyke with his second 3 ball. Utah on top by a pair. Dorsey trying to answer. Boucher under the rim, and a block by Jace Johnson. Loose ball, Bell to Boucher, run on the floor. Found, glass, and through.
A big sequence. Oregon comes out on the right side, fortuitous. Off the mishandle by Barefield, it leads to conversion. Boucher able to finish using that length, graceful, catch it in stride, didn't have to put it on the deck. Picks up the foul. Presence of mind to keep his eye on the rim, the target. So often when a player's fouled or there's going to be contact, they'll take their eyes off the rim.
Tied game.
Made baskets and free throws, Oregon will give different looks here in the full court. Live ball turnovers we saw in the UCLA-USC game are deadly. It's one thing if the ball goes out of bounds or you travel, because you can set your defense. And an opponent has to come down the floor and score against that set defense. Live ball most often leads in layups and dunks because of the mathematics, the 3-on-2, 2-on-1 breaks off those live ball turnovers.
10 to shoot. Kuzma the high screen for Daniels. Kuzma deep 3 in front of Brooks. Right to Bell. Now going back to that block against Boucher, the conference's leading shot blocker. You don't see him on the other end of that very often at all.
No.
Bell reverse 2-hand slam.
Wow. He's been working the rim like a pull-up bar tonight. That one reverse.
Bell now with 11.
This rate, they may have to check the screws on that rim. Might be shaky. Might need to replace it. Another turnover.
To Johnson, Bell with the swat. Dorsey pushing the tempo. No numbers. In transition, Benson launches and buries.
The Ducks on a surge here. See if Coach Krystkowiak calls a timeout or lets him play. They've been a bit disjointed. All started with Barefield's turnover in the open court. Ducks went the other way and have been on a run since.
Benson hasn't missed. It was last season he scored a season-best 15 points against the Utes right here in Salt Lake City. Blocking foul on Boucher. Foul on the floor doesn't count.
Well, a good two-man game again. Just a breakdown in coverage by the Ducks. And Bell goes reverse for the style points. And then here blocks the shot. And in transition, the Ducks get out opportunistic. They will knock down 3 balls. Good time to shoot the 3 in transition before opponents have set their defense in the scattered court. Opportunistic.
And it's back on the floor. Bottom, short distance.
Well, Utah excellent on baseline out of bounds play. That was good execution, a nice slice to the cup.
And this has taken the spot of Boucher, who exits with 3 fouls. Brooks wide open, taking a 3 off the mark. Dorsey controls, going right up against Rawson. Foul, his first.
One of the reasons Oregon's had success under Dana Altman is he recruits big guards. You look at Dorsey with his size. Brooks, a frontline player that really plays like a guard because he steps away. He's a swing. And when you have those big guards, not only on defense is it helpful, harder to see over the top of a larger defender, a bigger defender with length, but then in terms of finishing at the rim on offense or picking up some offensive boards as Dorsey did here, it's a plus to have that size. Doesn't mean there's not room for the diminutive water bugs, the little road runners, the beat beepers. We need them too, the Tyus Edneys, the Chris Pauls, but the big strong guard, something to be said in college basketball for that.
Kuzma gets Bell up in the air. Giving Rawson space.
Yeah, Dyke's been very productive. See if they go back to him. He's been feeling it tonight.
Kuzma, a 3, front iron. Here comes Ennis. Taken on Daniels. And they're calling a foul on Daniels. It's 3rd, all coming since halftime.
And I think the issue there, if you're Coach Krystkowiak, is why was the whistle so late? They may have gotten it right, but when there's the 1 count, 2 count, now 3 count, and you hear that delayed whistle, it was definitely a hard play on the ball. Might have been a Spalding sandwich, all leather, or all Wilson Jet, depending what type of basketball we're playing with tonight. Looks like a Wilson.
Let's bring Cedric Bearfield back in. As we take a look at Daniels, and you were mentioning the physical guards that Dana Altman has had in Eugene. Coach Krystkowiak told us today at shoot-around that he recruited the man we just saw, Devin Daniels, specifically to guard Oregon's backcourt. He had that in mind when watching Daniels play in high school.
Yeah, when you take a little program as Coach Krystkowiak, as you look to see how can you consistently get into the top 4 of the conference, and you study the composition in terms of league recruiting, in terms of styles of play within a conference. Overpassing.
Yeah.
Can't overpass. That's taking a good shot and turning it into a bad play. An empty possession or turnover.
Dorsey under the rim. Ducks trying to extend what is their largest lead, but a foul sends us the other way. That's on Benson, his first.
Well, it's a dribble handoff by Benson. In the 1930s and 40s, that's a legal play, CCNY, NYU, the dribble handoff. But here, because he hands it off and moves. Yeah, nice elevation there, even though it's not going to count in the books for Mr. Brooks. Clearly, he's got the pep in the step, the spring.
This is the last game versus Stanford. Was in a walking boot, a sprained foot. Same foot he had surgery on over the summer after it was broken. A game-time decision, and he's responded with 15 points, but only 2 since the break. Wide open underneath Bearfield, knocked away.
And Ennis able to use that length there to turn that appearing open shot into a contested shot by Bearfield.
So much for wide open. Of course, the Ducks leading the nation in block shots. Bell with authority.
Boy, they are working in concert. 2-man game basketball. A tandem or a pair that can read and react and have the skills to execute like this Duck team. It's pretty basketball.
9-point lead, the largest of the night for Oregon. Timeout called by Coach Krystkowiak. We've seen some pretty dunks.
Well, a precise pass right to the target hand by Brooks. Bell doesn't even have to bring the ball down. And again, the precision of a surgeon, the doctor, Dillon Brooks. Timeout.
Number 10 team of the country, the Oregon Ducks, starting to extend the lead. They're largest of the night, 9. And let me take a look at some highlights from this 13-2 Oregon run.
Well, Brooks sizing up, attacking the feet there of Kuzma from the elbow, and then in transition, the graceful 7-footer Boucher able to finish, and then Bell just starts to flex his muscle or his chest. Give him a cape. He's got the Superman or Batman performance going on. A superhero for the Ducks in Salt Lake.
Jordan Bell, if you include tonight, his last 5 games, he's made 29 of 35 shots, and we saw a couple of those from about as close distance as you can ask for.
Well, and he's taking shots that he knows he can make. So again, well deployed by Dana Altman and staff in terms of how they position their players to achieve success. Get them on the bus, right? Then you got to get them on the right seat. That's how you go good to great. It's actually a good book.
And Lav, if you're Coach Krystkowiak right now and you're in the huddle, you're trying to slow down this Ducks team, what do you do?
Well, it starts with defense. That helps. Get a bucket. Now you can set your defense.
On the other end, Ennis quickly off the glass under the rim.
Well, and the second time we've seen the Ducks get opportunities, once by drawing a foul and there a basket, because of their ability to take the ball out of the net and take an opponent's basket away with one of their own. That's what the great Laker teams did, the Celtics. The best running teams, they run both off made and missed.
Kuzma with a good step and through. He's in double figures with 11.
Well, they almost did it again. Van Dyke alertly able to intercept that sideline pass, but the Ducks looking to attack the Utes in transition.
Kuzma now a team-high 11 points, looking for his 7th straight double-double amidst the snow here in Salt Lake City. Both teams shooting over 50%. Oregon on top here in the second half, trying to win their 17th in a row. Saturday on Fox, the top 2 women bantamweight contenders in the world enter the octagon, knowing that if they win this fight, a title shot is next. It's history in the making when Valentina Shevchenko battles Juliana Pena, but only one of them will survive to challenge the champion. Don't miss UFC Fight Night Saturday at 8 Eastern on Fox, or watch it live on Fox Sports Go.
It's rare to get that 1-2 matchup. Compelling.
One hand slam. What a hammer from Bell.
My goodness. Again, we're going to have to check those rims.
15 now for Bell. Time with Brooks for a team high.
You know, the dunk, clearly an exclamation point, but really it was, again, the passing, the delivery there, the find. Daniels able to finish at the rim. The Utes have been rewarded when they go down low, either off the bounce for point-blank shots or by feeding the bigs.
Under 10 minutes.
The point there was the dunk was spectacular, but it's fundamental basketball in terms of them finding the open man and playing together as a team.
And it's a teardrop with 4 to shoot. It's through. Peyton Pritchard, by the way, back on the floor now for the Ducks. We haven't seen him in some time with 3 fouls.
This is a critical sequence here. If the Utes can shave a couple points off this deficit, get to the timeout, regroup.
Foul on the floor as they sort through the bodies.
We talked about Jordan Bell's ability to climb the ladder. And the Ducks playing through the hot hand. When you're throwing down as many jams, the variety, the style points. But again, it's set up by tight passing and perfect delivery. So when Bell gets the ball, he doesn't even need to dribble or bring it down. He can just pogo stick right into those jams.
Now Bell helping the cleanup crew. He exits with 3 fouls. Replaced by Boucher, who also has 3. Bell exits with 15 points.
He's an example of a player, like many of the Ducks, who have gotten better from year to year. If you look at the numbers, the maturity, and that's why Dana Altman has a successful program. The culture is built here and just continues to roll on in Eugene.
Now Kuzma, just a 64% free throw shooter, missing the front end of the 1-and-1.
Utes got to dig in, get a string of stops or shutouts. String together some good possessions at both ends of the floor allow this crowd to get back in the game.
Brooks stripped by Bearfield. He'll shoot.
The Ducks patient here, taking the clock down. They go to their best player in a little isolation against the smaller Bearfield. You've got the mouse in the house in terms of the mismatch in size. So very NBA flavor in terms of isolating and looking at matchups that the Ducks can exploit.
Now you got to explain that one, Lav. A mismatch is mouse in the house.
That means someone smaller, diminutive. And if you've got big size, let's say a lumberjack, or in this case, a 6'7" Dillon Brooks, then your team needs to recognize when the mouse is in the house under the basket.
That sounds so simple. 16 for Brooks now.
Well, you have to teach with imagery and pictures and metaphor when dealing with 18 and 22-year-olds. It's a tough audience. Keep them captive.
Collette back on the floor. He's playing with 3 fouls. And his controls, pushing.
Again, not much daylight at the rim against this long Duck team, and bottoms by Ennis. The Ducks hitting on all cylinders right now, both ends.
Collette able to sneak it past Boucher.
And it's an important basket. Again, if they can get a stop and get it under double digits going into the 8-minute TV timeout, plenty of time.
Ennis, who has been such a better three-point shooter in conference play, taking this time all the way to the rim.
This has been textbook basketball offensively by the Ducks here.
Ennis now with 13. Foul going on Brooks, who flops to the deck.
Bearfield rewarded.
Oh my.
You can't fault the Laurence Olivier, the Oscars, the theatrics. He has a flair for the dramatic with game-winning shots, or in that case, a flop.
Well, that was spectacular.
You know, one thing that's clear about Dillon Brooks is as he gets the boo from the Utes fans here. But he has fun on the floor, and the great ones have that, a childlike spirit. He's a great competitor, but also you can tell there's a joyfulness or a bounce to his game, and that's infectious or contagious. It rubs off on teammates as well.
Pritchard running into a roadblock, and Collette going back baseline. Bell, a rare miss. He's looking for a foul, and now a whistle on the baseline. Pritchard, his 4th foul. How about Dylan Ennis in his second half? 2 points in the first 11 since.
Now the transfer from Villanova starting to heat it up. The microwave came from the East Coast, settled in Eugene, and he is feeling it. Timeout.
Oregon led by 2 at halftime. They've essentially dominated the second half in large part because of their defense, leading to some offense.
Well, Oregon alert and aggressive in this run, and using their length, their speed to provide resistance at the rim. Then offensively, the strength by Bell to finish. There's the Bearfield turnover, which leads to Boucher, and his length able to finish at the rim. Again, the Ducks, web feet, but very quick when it comes to this attack. They are quacking in Salt Lake.
Did you work on that one, Lav?
Which part?
You can see takeaways.
You bring out my best.
Well, that's what a good guard does, doesn't it?
You do. You play make, you orchestrate. You're like the drummer in a band.
I feel like I don't have to do much.
Was it Don Henley that was both a drummer and a vocalist? One of the few?
It was absolutely Don Henley.
And it's tough to find. And the Eagles, right? I think Hotel California may have been an example of both a drummer and a vocalist.
Bearfield's free throw makes it a 10-point deficit for the Utes.
You have those skills.
9-point deficit. Thanks for the chalk talk.
Again, plenty of time inside of double digits now. Guaranteed. Coach Krystkowiak talked about the defense. Too many easy looks at the rim for the Ducks.
Collette on Bell. Collette spills. And on travel.
That was a good possession. Utah dug in. They were in their stance. Wide base, flexion in the knees. Leveled off, dribble penetration. Didn't give the Ducks an angle to the rim. That's one stop. Now you convert. Here it's pivotal. They play through the paint. Get a touch for the bigs.
Fifth Oregon turnover. Counter that to 13 for Utah.
There it is.
Kuzma gets Boucher up in the air and capitalizes. Just what you called for. Team high 13 for Kuzma. And now the crowd gets back into this one.
Got to dig in one more time. Provide resistance at the rim.
Brooks rising. Brooks rattles out. Daniels waltzes it across the timeline.
You can attack off the bounce or tough pass there. Tried to thread the needle.
Now Collette pleading that it was last touched by Oregon.
Well, again, these are judgments or decisions that are costly. Such an important possession. I'm not sure if Berto Clemente could have picked that one up.
That was a point-blank fastball. 14th Utah turnover. Barefield picks Vincent's pocket. Barefield lays it in. 5-point game. 8-0 run in less than 2 minutes for the Utes. And suddenly 15,000 in a frenzy. Brooks taking it against Collette. Foul. Almost went through.
Barefield making amends for the earlier turnover, gets one back in a critical situation for his team, and able to finish. Hard fall to the ground, and then Brooks, the crossover, the gather with one bounce, able to take it from 26 feet out to the rim, and that's efficient use of the bounce, purposeful use of the bounce.
Brooks, beloved here in Utah, gets the first. That's 4 on Collette, by the way. Jace Johnson checking in. You see Collette leading the way with 4 for Utah. Peyton Pritchard with 4, Boucher and Bell with 3 for Oregon.
My sense is Collette will not be on the bench for very long, given the significance of this game and his maturity and experience, his skill set. Two-way player when you look at Collette.
Brooks now a game high 18. Barefield gets it back to the corner, rises for the 3. Turns out to essentially be an alley-oop to Kuzma. Lead back to 5 for Oregon. Boucher, what a slam! Wingspan, Chris Boucher.
And great basketball. Utes switched again, mouse in the house, mismatch. Boucher recognized instead of shooting a jumper, he takes it to the hole and flushes home on Barefield.
Jump ball possession, Utah. How about this for another look?
Well, good recognition. There was the switch. Kuzma and Barefield, the Ducks again, NBA flavor, see that. And how about the windmill jam for Boucher?
3 attempts short. And this slows it down. We approach the 5-minute mark.
There have been sequences where the Utes settle for jumpers here, a breakdown defensively. They're fortunate.
Boucher trying to save it to Brooks with the head of steam. And is fighting with Daniels. And is out of bounds, staying with Oregon. Van Dyke checks back in for Barefield.
Again, going back to the Utes offensively, nothing wrong with the three-pointer, but you can get that attempt late in the clock with a high ball screen. Explore or probe the paint and post feeds. Give yourself a chance to get fouled along the way and get to the free throw line.
Brooks thinking about it. One-on-one versus Kuzma. Deep two. Bell bats it away. Controlled by Oregon. They wanted a walk. Boucher wanted a foul. Daniels given space by Dorsey.
Yeah, ill-advised shot again when Coach Krystkowiak goes back, watches game film with his boys. They'll talk about the value of every possession, the razor-thin margin for error you play with in college basketball, and in particular against the Oregon Ducks.
Utah has missed 7 of 9 3 attempts in the second half. They went for Bell, but it's picked by Bonham. Daniels, two-hand flush. Timeout, Dana Altman. Devin Daniels now 11 with some authority.
No, the bullet pass, faster than the bounce, advance it. Speeding bullet, two-hand jam. Daniels lets it all hang out. Timeout.
Lav, both teams still shooting over 50%. Both teams with at least half their points coming in the paint, and part of the reason why we've seen a lot of play above the rim.
Well, attack the cup, attack the rim, and you'll be rewarded. Aggressive moves to the basket. Two-man basketball with the pick and roll. The foot speed of this Oregon team, in particular the front line, is exceptional. You see it there with Boucher off the bounce. Then Utah going to get some of their own transition basketball, defense creating offense. Daniels, the jam.
Oregon in the midst of a program record 16 consecutive wins. Utah even Steven 2-2 their last 4 games against top 10 opponents. One of those losses, one of those 2 losses coming to the hands of the Ducks. Wins against Arizona and Duke.
David Collette back in the lineup for Utah.
Dylan Brooks now with 18, a game high. Remember this Ducks offense going right into the teeth of this Utah student section in the second half.
Yeah, man and zone. They've been able to get into the interior. They've screened both man and zone defenses as well effectively.
5 to shoot for Dorsey. Cross it over, stepping through, taking on Kuzma. How about that finish?
Tyler Dorsey, a cool customer, maneuvers well off the bounce, plays at a pace where he's under control. There again, the size of Dorsey allowed him to finish over the top, Aaron.
Only 4 points for Dorsey, former McDonald's All-American, but a timely bucket that time.
Something here for the Utes, going to the rim.
Collette lowered his head, backdoor Kuzma, under, can't finish.
That was a good idea. Good two-man basketball. Just came up short.
Oregon a chance to stretch this lead to double figures. Brooks backdoor. Picked by Van Dyke. Left his feet without a plan. And Van Dyke loses it. Flops on top. Bonham controlling. And it stays with the Utes.
Boy, not sure what Bonham was thinking there. Head down like a hound dog. Going where there's no space, no real estate there. Tiptoeing along the baseline.
You don't typically see somebody waltz in that real estate. Under 2.5 minutes. Van Dyke with innocent front. Kuzma trying to follow. They get into the hands of Dorsey. Utes looking for that signature win. Only 1 win against a top 100 RPI team. That's USC. A convincing win here at home.
Well, Ducks comfortable with bringing the clock down. 7-point lead. And then they'll ISO. You don't want to wait too long and end up with a bad shot. Elbows in your tonsils.
With 3 to shoot in his front iron. Here comes Bonham. Kuzma, top 3. Kuzma buries it. Timeout called by Utah. Kuzma exploding with 11 points in the second half, 18 on the night. Cuts the lead to 4.
Well, the Utes leader, Kuzma, has a knack for timely baskets here, stretching the defense from the deep corner. Flexion in the wrist, good lift, and release by the big fella. There are certain players that step up both offensively and defensively and have the ability to make plays in late clock or late game situations. And Kuzma clearly one of those athletes that can cause problems for opponents.
Kuzma 3 rebounds shy of what would be his 6th consecutive double-double. We had Coach Krystkowiak telling us today's shoot-around that he has never been harder on a player in his time at Utah than Kyle Kuzma. Twice he thought Kuzma would crack and transfer.
And that says a lot if he was harder on him than any player, because, as you know, Coach Krystkowiak, a tough customer, kind of a great Santini approach to his coaching.
Dividends paid out from Kuzma this year especially. Dorsey puts on the brakes. Brooks pulls up. And Kuzma with an emphatic rebound.
Don't need the 3-ball.
Collette in transition. Oh my goodness. Pritchard back on the floor with 4 fouls for Oregon.
1 minute remaining in the game.
60 seconds left.
Ducks going to spread the court. Take it down, old Phil Ford style with North Carolina pre-shot clock. Dean Smith years in Chapel Hill.
Well, now 4 to shoot. Brooks deep and straight away. Utah's got to get the ball back, and they do.
Even here, and there's enough time to get something going towards the basket. Give yourself a chance to get fouled, and then if there's a natural collapse towards dribble penetration or a post catch, then the kick out for the 3 is there.
Utah with 1 timeout left, Oregon with 2. Bonham ahead of steam. Offensive foul!
Offensive foul.
Boy, Utes feeling like they can't get a break here. Again, love to see that as a no call as a coach in this situation. Now, it is true there was the arm. Did it extend? It wasn't a red Grange. It wasn't, you know, an extended forearm shiver. It was more of an armbar guarding, where you guard the ball with that armbar. But again, I'm very biased as a basketball coach.
That would have been Pritchard's 5th. Home run pass to Brooks over his head, and Utah gets it right back.
Oh, Dana Altman not happy with that, as you see him looking at Bell, saying you had 2 or 3 other players open. Just get the ball in bounds. Instead, they go for the home run play. Like a fly pattern to the end zone. Turn it over, they'll come back this way. And now, what's critical about that turnover is the Utes, who are effective at their baseline out of bounds execution, get the ball where they prefer.
Collette playing with 4 fouls. Ducks scoreless the last 2 minutes and 45 seconds. Time dwindling for Utah.
And not a time where you've got to shoot the 3. If it's open, it's in rhythm. Take it, but look or probe or investigate something inside.
And how about this? Rawson coming on. Collette couldn't come back in because the clock never started. The ball was never touched.
That's a tough break if you're a Utes fan.
And now Dana Altman trying to substitute as well, and the same story goes for Boucher. And now Dorsey having a conversation with one of the officials. You can see him explaining the situation to Dana Altman. Altman and the Ducks trying to win their 17th in a row.
Coach Krystkowiak looks like he could still suit up and play for the Utes. Broad shoulders, good shape, got the sweatsuits going. Coach's first cancer week, so you see both staffs wearing the sneakers.
And a free timeout here as the officials are reviewing this to see if the clock ever started. You can see Bell with the inbounds. Brooks wasn't even close to touching it. Really, clock never started at all.
Both teams in huddles as a result of the officials looking at the monitor. They can review the out-of-bounds play. Wouldn't be surprised if there's not some interior screening between the bigs of Utah.
So Utah, who has only one timeout to spare, a chance to draw something up. Kuzma to inbounds.
It's like goal line defense here for the Ducks.
Van Dyke, short, right in Kuzma's lap. No foul called. Boucher and Bell went up with it. And Ennis losing it. The clock has not started.
Boy, on Kuzma's shot, it sure appeared not up high, but down low. There was a lot of body contact. Need a new engineer when it comes to the shot clock here in Salt Lake. But I thought up high clean, but my question was down low. The body was their contact between Boucher. Tufka's somewhat blocked with that camera angle. Again, Utes going for another three, but Kuzma able to secure the ball.
5 seconds ran off before the clock stopped.
Unusual series of events. Sequences, a frenetic finish here with the interruptions as well.
Fortuitous bounce for Kuzma, no doubt. Right to him. Kuzma, who's led the way with 18 points, now has 9 rebounds, one board shy of his 6th straight double-double. He has 11 of the Utes' 13 double-doubles, and it looks like there's going to be need to be a correction of about 9 seconds.
See the clock failures.
That's about 9 Mississippis right there, Lav.
That's right. You're on it. Clockwork.
We get help.
A lot of pressure on the timer over there at the scores table. Tough night for him. I don't know if it's wiring malfunction in terms of we need an electrician or if it's a slow trigger.
Well, you think about missed opportunities for the Utes. Collette, the missed layup that was just a gimme, it looked like. A couple of possessions before. Kuzma, we just saw the no call. All meanwhile, Oregon has been held scoreless for nearly 3 minutes.
9 seconds. 9 seconds.
So 9 seconds is what needs to be changed. And it was 23.8 left. Bell to inbounds in Pritchard's hands. Pressure from Van Dyke and a foul.
Parker Van Dyke.
2 shots coming. 10th team foul.
His first personal.
When you go back and break a game down, there's still time, clearly, for Utah. Oregon, if they want to win, has to salt the victory away by converting from the free throw line. Utah has to try and extend this game by scoring quick, setting their defense. If you don't get a steal, fouling. But there were, in addition to the possessions you mentioned, there was the Bearfield turnover in the open court that really changed momentum in this game, and Oregon went on a run. There was also the Kuzma layup that he turned down and passed when he had a layup himself and led to a turnover, and then that Collette missed free throw.
Bonham trying to hurry, take it on Boucher and a foul.
You see, that seems obvious that more of those possessions as the Utes go along. Coach Krystkowiak, one of the best in the business. His team last year peaked in February and March. So Well, you don't want to lose. A game like this can inform a better way moving forward. And the good coaches, like Coach Krystkowiak, get better from setbacks. They take a game like this as a report card, make adjustments with the staff, do the teaching with the team on the floor and the drill work, and then you put together an impressive run as a result of making those adjustments, addressing the vulnerabilities or areas you're challenged as a team.
Costly miss from bottom. Collette to the bench. Zamora checks back in at 42% three-point shooter. It's the second.
Don't get the steal, you got a foul right now.
Fourth foul on Devin Daniels. Oregon. As we take a look ahead for the number 10 team of the country, the altitude series continues at Colorado, then on FS1 against the Sun Devils, and then against the top team of the conference, Sean Miller's Wildcats, at Pauley Pavilion against UCLA, and then at USC, who just took down the Bruins. How about that schedule remaining?
And the amazing thing, because the Ducks are playing at such a high level, as we see Brooks miss a free throw, but they can win all 5 of those games, have a chance to win 4. And even if you go 3-2, you're still in good shape, given the competitive nature of this league. But if Oregon plays like this, they'll have a chance to win every one of those games.
Van Dyke, a 3 in the corner. Pritchard trying to control on the ground. Loose ball controlled by Boucher, and the Ducks survived. They led for all of a minute in the first half, and Dana Altman of the number 10 team of the country continues to extend its program's all-time winning streak to 17 games.
Well, we saw 2 well-coached teams, well-prepared teams. Oregon right now hitting on all cylinders, a well-oiled machine with their sights set on a conference championship, a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament, has a tough schedule coming up, and the Utes, I really feel, Aaron, they are a team come February that no one will want to play, and by the time they get to conference tournament, will be capable of cutting down the nets.
The Oregon defense holding its 19th of 21 opponents under 70 points again this season. Too much Dylan Brooks, too much Jordan Bell as the Ducks survive in Salt Lake City. Once again, our final score, Oregon 73, Utah 67. For Steve Lavin, our entire FS1 crew, I'm Aaron Goldsman. Glad you could join us here tonight in Utah. Coming up next, it's Fox Sports Live with Jay and Dana.